Hi, welcome back to our monthly short video about what students should be doing in the next month in the college application process. I'm Jess.
And I'm Sawyer.
We're the co-founders of Virtual College Counselors.
And so starting off, we're talking about the month of March, and we're going to begin by thinking about our juniors, so the class of 2023, really starting to get into that early stage of the college search process. Last month, we talked a lot about building a college list and kind of exploring college fit. If you didn't see that video, you can find it on our YouTube channel to get yourself caught up. It's never too late to start the process. For this month, we really want students to look at the research they've done so far and start to think about why do they like certain things or why don't they like certain things? And how can that help inform their college list? This is really kind of the second draft when we talk about fit and college lists. Now, when I say second draft, a lot of students might look at me kind of inquisitively because they think, well, isn't the college list just one list and then we're done? Not true. Certainly some students have a better idea of maybe where they want to go or what they want to study or what they're looking for. But for most people, the college list and college fit is a living, breathing, growing thing. And that is normal. It is healthy to have that change. Think about a student or even about yourself. What were you like 4 years ago? And what will you be like 4 years from now? Chances are, especially if you're younger, like a high school student, they're pretty wildly different versions. And that is normal and healthy to see that growth and development. And we take that same idea when we talk about the college list and when we think about fit when we're thinking about the college search. The second thing we really want juniors to focus on in this month is building out that activities list. Now, an activities list is kind of like a resume, but for college. Now, most students might think that an activities list involves things like student government, maybe sports, maybe hobbies or interest group clubs. But we really want you to expand that idea. This includes things like working a part-time job, taking care of relatives, whether they're a younger sibling or maybe an older relative. It involves any personal passion projects you might have or things you dedicate a lot of times to. The thing that's really important to remember is that you are in school for a certain number of hours every day. You are eating, you're sleeping. What do you do aside from that? Where do you put your time and energy, and what do you care about? That's what we're talking about when we talk about extracurricular activities. And if you want to learn more about extracurricular activities, you can check out in the description below. We have a link to our blog post where we talk about how to build a perfect activities list based off of 3 questions that we really think capture everything that an admission officer wants to know.
So there's a few things that we covered last month that we're going to reiterate this month, because if you haven't done them, you have to. And we just want to make sure that you really are there because they're very important. Firstly, that college appropriate email. We really stress the importance of having an appropriate email to use for the entire college application journey and moving forward after that. Your school emails are going to disappear the second that you graduate. So we want to make sure that the colleges have access to an email address that's going to actually get to you over the summer. Also, it's really embarrassing to have that phone call from an admission officer who's verifying if they have the correct email address because you haven't been checking your email and responding to them. And they have to say over the phone, are you soccercutie98@gmail.com? We don't want that. Your college appropriate email address should be some semblance of your name and some numbers that are significant to you. Moving on, I think we harped on that enough.
Yes.
We really think it's important that all juniors have a test score this year. Yes, we are still operating in a test option landscape, but what we have found is if you are a good test taker, it can often open doors to submit a score. And many schools might be test optional for college admissions and not test optional for scholarship opportunities. We want to make sure every door is still open at this point. Many schools offer an in-school sitting for the SAT or ACT. You are usually automatically registered for that if you are enrolled in that high school. Outside of that, it's really important that you take some time sooner than later to register for an exam before the summer. That way, if you do want to retest in the fall, you will have ample opportunity to do so, knowing that you can still submit applications because you have a score already. Lastly, letters of recommendation. We'll talk more about this later in the school year, but it's important to start thinking about right now. Most colleges want to see letters of recommendation from junior year teachers. And for juniors this year, you're just getting to know your teachers still. If you can't think of at least 2 teachers in core subject areas who you feel know you very well, now's the time to start making those connections and really start participating in class and making sure that they know who you are. That way, when they do go to write your letter of recommendation, they can actually speak to you and not to a generic student.
Right. So for our juniors, for class of 2023, to recap, we want to keep working on that college list and college fit, and it's okay if it changes. That's normal and healthy. We want you to begin developing that activities list, or at least thinking about what you're going to put on it. Create that college appropriate email so no one has to have an awkward conversation or phone call. Register for that SAT and ACT to have at least one under your belt, and start thinking about who you might reach out to for letters of recommendation. Moving on to the class of 2022, for our seniors, you are doing so great and you are so close to being done with the high school process. But that doesn't mean now is the time to turn off all 5 of your senses and just coast along. Obviously, we want you to keep thinking about college, keep thinking about making good grades, and end strong. So in that line, we have about 4 different points that we want to talk about for the class of 2022. So first and foremost, you need to be able to digitize and share with us, if you work with us, college admission financial aid letters. When we meet with students, it's really important that we understand, 1, what are they being offered by a school? And 2, what are other schools offering them? This is part of that final step of deciding. Even if finances are not a huge piece of your decision process, no one should go to a school for full price. You should be rewarded for the hard work you've done. And there's also plenty of negotiation or particular systems that we might be able to use to help you understand and remove some of the bureaucratic language from your financial aid award letter. So especially if you are working with us one-on-one and you're setting up for a spring meeting, make sure you have sent and shared and digitized all of those things, whether they're admission letters, scholarship letters, or full financial aid awards. The second thing we want to talk about is you have to check your college portals. Most colleges, once you have been accepted, will have some form of a portal where you can go online and either see messages, upload documents, or view those particular documents we were talking about in this last point. It is really important to check this because you never know, 1, what might be on there that you need to do. For example, a housing deposit or even an enrollment deposit if you decide to move forward with a college. And 2, if you are missing something, maybe you're doing a later admission cycle, you're reaching out and you're trying to get everything in, you need to know if they have what they need to move forward with your review. So that's really important to make sure that not only are you on top of your email, but that you're on top of this college portal. And if your college doesn't have a portal and you have a question, you can always email your admission counselor.
So a few other points for the seniors. 1, it's really important to keep us updated on admission decisions. We want to celebrate with you. We are also here to support you as you navigate being waitlisted or deferred from certain schools and developing that letter of continued interest, all of the things that are involved in the remaining pieces of the process. So please keep us informed because we're excited. Also, now's the time to start letting schools know. So if you have already narrowed your list down to 4 of the options that you already have on the table, but you haven't decided yet, you might have other options that you've already said no to. They don't know that yet unless you've told them. Most colleges on that portal will have a place where you can decline an offer of admission. If it doesn't exist on the portal, you can also just send a very brief email to the admissions office and just say like, hey, thank you for reviewing my application very favorably. I chose to attend another school and I appreciate your time. Period. End of conversation. They probably won't respond and that's okay. But letting them know is a respectful thing to do. I will note that a lot of families think that if you let schools know early, it somehow is going to open up spots for the students on the wait list to start being admitted. It's not really a 1-for-1 in most cases because colleges know that they need to admit far more students than they have seats for. But it is important to start notifying as early as possible so that colleges can actually start making those decisions. And lastly, now's the time to start planning those college visits. If you've narrowed down your options to the top few that you want to attend, now's the time to start planning that visit during spring break. Ideally, your spring break doesn't overlap with the college spring break. You can look online for those dates. But in general, it's important for students to step foot on campus before making a decision about attending. whenever possible. It's not always going to be possible, but if it is, please try to plan a visit soon.
Right. So recapping for our class of 2022, our seniors that are so close to the finish line, if you work with us, you need to be able to digitize all of those admission documents and share them with us for our spring meeting. If you don't work with us, still digitize them. It's going to be good to keep on hand for any type of conversations you're going to have down the line with colleges or college counselors. Check your portals. Make sure that you are staying on top of not just your emails, but any college portals that you might have access to based off your applications. Keep us updated with schools. Also, keep schools updated with your decisions. If you decide that you are not interested in a school anymore, you can go ahead and let them know. Alternatively, if you know you found your number one school, it's okay to enroll a little bit early. That is totally fine as well. And then lastly, plan those college visits, especially if you couldn't visit some of your top choices earlier. Now is a great time to start visiting in the spring while school's in session, or you might even be able to visit for those admitted students days or those scholarship weekends where you're going to be able to look around and not just see other people visiting the school, but other students who would want to start the exact same time as you. So this is our update for the month of March. We hope that it's helpful. If you want to go back and watch our other videos to catch up, you're more than welcome to do that. And you're always welcome to reach out to us on our website for a free consultation, or you can shoot us an email if you want to get our thoughts or ideas on a certain subject. So once again, my name is Sawyer.
And I'm Jess.
And we hope to hear from you soon, and we hope that the college search goes well.